My name is Brett Hosking and I'm a Senior Claims Executive at the Standard Club. I'm going to speak about Module 3. I completed the P&IQ in May 2017. What is Module 3 all about? Module 3 covers three of the vital components that make up a P&I Club and the services they provide to members. These are underwriting, claims handling, and loss prevention. This module builds on the foundation blocks of Modules 1 and 2. On the underwriting side, Chapters 1 to 6 cover governance and regulatory framework. This section outlines the legislation and regulations that affect underwriters and the business they write. It touches upon sanctions, OP90, port state control, and their consequences on cover. An overview of the underwriting process looks at the business context of underwriting decisions. The section touches upon the relationship between an underwriter and broker, as well as the importance of statistics when assessing risk. The process of accepting an entry, and what an underwriter must consider when accepting an entry like the provisions of the International Group Agreement, or IGA, or internal risk appetite. Risk analysis and rating. This is one of the most important areas of underwriting. This section looks at a number of topics from the IGA and how it governs the behavior of IG underwriters to premium rating. The IGA underpins how the mutuality system works, and it is crucial to the high levels of cover offered within the IG. As well as this, factors that go into determining a rate of premium are discussed. It could be argued that risk assessment and premium rating are the most important elements of an underwriter's role, so it is important to understand some of the processes behind them. Renewals, a specific area that every underwriter looks forward to every year. This section covers the renewal process and scenarios, general increases, and renewals in respect of other classes of business. Underwriting administration. A large element of any underwriting function within a club is the administration process. This section looks at certification requirements of an assured and other membership documentation needed. Loss prevention. Chapter 7 talks about the prevention of losses, which is key to both the club and the member. These losses are not just commercial losses, but also loss of life or limb, environmental damage, or reputation damage following an incident. The Loss Prevention Department works with the underwriting and claims functions. They work both proactively before an incident has occurred and reactively after an incident has occurred to prevent it from reoccurring. The Loss Prevention Department plays a key role in managing the club's P&I survey program, analysing individual incidents and claims, preparing and presenting loss prevention publications and training, supporting members by sharing best practices and guidance on ports, cargo, etc., keeping abreast of new regulations and providing guidance, and participating and contributing in conferences. As mutual insurers, each member, and as mutual reinsurers through the pooling agreement, each club has a common interest to ensure that ships conform to a common standard. To achieve this, the club rules make cover conditional on standards being maintained with respect to classification, flag state requirements, ISM, and ISPS codes. The IG develops guidelines for club underwriters to obtain the same basic level of information about ships and sets the parameters for surveying ships based on criteria such as, for example, age, change of class, or port state intervention. It also gives details on how the group would manage a change of club for a substandard ship under the pooling agreement and its effect on cover should a certain club wish to insure a designated vessel. The last part of this section provides some information on how the different loss prevention initiatives are incorporated and some of the common and new themes on which the various clubs are working to reduce losses. Claims. Chapters 8 to 14 cover the basics of P&I claims handling and look at matters which are common to all areas of P&I claims. Particular types of claims, such as people claims, cargo claims, collision, pollution, salvage and wreck removal are covered in later modules. We learn about the claims handler's role within a P&I Club, which has two main objectives: to work with the relevant member to ensure that the claim covered by its terms of entries is resolved as quickly and cost-effectively as possible, and to provide a prompt and accurate estimation of the liability cost of each claim. The module will walk you through the claims process, starting with notification of a claim to closing a file after the claim has been resolved. A claims handler must become familiar with the club rules and the individual member's terms of entry. It is important to check details from the start to ensure that a claim is indeed covered within a particular policy year and to identify any conflict of interest. For example, other parties connected to the claim may also be entered with the same club, and therefore internal processes must be followed to protect each party's interest. A claims handler is not only handling a claim, but also managing a relationship with the member by keeping the member informed and guiding the member through the claims handling process. In more detail, the importance of good claims file management. The ultimate goal is to manage claims efficiently and cost-effectively with full consideration of the realities of the applicable law and procedure. Managing professional advisors. From time to time, it is necessary to appoint lawyers and other professional advisors in various locations around the world, and it is important to know how to provide clear instructions to those advisors to follow up on reporting and review invoices to ensure value for money. Provision of club security. This is a very valuable service provided by P&I clubs that can be arranged swiftly. However, it is important to carefully follow the correct process and undertake necessary checks to protect both the members and club's position. Once in place, the security may be a financial commitment on the part of the club for many years. An example of security for a cargo claim may be found at Appendix 17. Claims resolution. This section summarizes choice of forum, court and arbitration proceedings, or other dispute resolution procedures such as mediation, as well as an analysis of the factors that can impact the negotiation and resolution of claims. Estimating claims. This is an important task for the claims handler and provides both the club and member with a best estimate of the likely overall cost of the claim, including investigation and legal expenses, where applicable. Pool and reinsurance claims. In P&IQ Module 2, you will have learnt about the IG's pooling agreement and the reinsurance structure. It is here in the claims process that those facilities may be called upon, and it is important to identify when that may be necessary and the correct procedure to follow. How much learning material will be provided? The textbook has 220 pages, which includes diagrams, illustrations, and the appendices. The core text comprises of around 166 pages. A hard copy of the textbook can be requested if you are in the UK. You can download a copy of the textbook from the P&I Coracle website, where you will also find some sample test questions. There are more sample tests available on TestReach once you have booked your exam. The sample tests are highly recommended, as we find that those who take the sample tests routinely do better in the exam. My advice is to read, understand, and learn the text in Module 3, and test yourself using the sample exam questions, and then test yourself again. This will be the best preparation for the Module 3 exam. Are there any parts of the textbook or exam people generally find more difficult? Module 3 might present a step up from Modules 1 and 2. It is no longer introductory in nature and starts to explore the subject matter with more focus. There are areas that candidates have found particularly challenging, and these include underwriting, the factors affecting the risk analysis carried out by an underwriter with a particular focus on the material underwriting information, renewal processes for underwriters, the factors that may be considered by a club board in the general increase, provision for IBNR, inflation and future claims, IGA considerations, Certification requirements. Loss prevention. Surveys carried out on entered vessels and prospective new entries. Key loss prevention functions. Claims. Choice of forum considerations and alternative dispute resolution options. Expert involvement in claims management. Letter of undertaking considerations. The liaison with other departments. Estimating claims. What will I be examined on? Exams are held twice a year in May and October. The exam syllabus is based solely on the textbook. The textbook contains all the necessary information that you will need for the examination. In the textbook, each chapter covers the different learning objectives for the exam. Each chapter has a knowledge rating required for each learning objective. Requires only a general awareness of the topic required. Requires a more detailed knowledge of the concepts and issues discussed. Requires a thorough understanding of the concepts described, as well as the ability to evaluate them and apply them to various situations. External reading is not required. Throughout the text, there will be action points for you to undertake. These include reading specific parts of your club's rules to the IGA. There are also 17 appendices to read and understand, but you will not need to learn these for the exam unless specifically stated. The detail in the appendices is for reference and context. You may find some elements of the appendices appear in the main text. Finally, away from the textbook, you are encouraged to discuss the learning objectives with your colleagues or P&I industry contacts if you do not work in a P&I club, to get a practical view of how your reading applies in practice. For example, if you are an underwriter, you should be encouraged to discuss claims handling elements with claims colleagues to understand better how they are applied in the actual role. How will this training help me with my job? Ideally, the module will help build upon a base of P&I knowledge and further develop the 3 key components of the service the clubs offer. The module should give you more confidence and understanding on each topic. For some, this may feed neatly into your day-to-day role within P&I and stand you in good stead when discussing P&I with clients or peers. The text can be used as a reference throughout your career in P&I, and you can refer back to it as and when needed. Even when you have passed your exam, I recommend that you have the module to hand as a reminder or checklist to help you on the job. This module provides an excellent background to move forward on the subsequent P&I modules. Good luck with your P&IQ journey. Thanks to Rhys O'Neill, Underwriter, Rahul Sapra, Loss Prevention Manager, both at the Standard Club, and Helenka Leary and Ara Solom at Guard for their contribution to this presentation.